Oh. Hi, I'm Bret Shuford. This is another episode of Broadway Life where we teach you how to get the Broadway life. And today's guest is Renee Marino.
Hi, you guys.
Tell the people what they would know you from.
So most recently I was in the film Jersey Boys, directed by Mr. Clint Eastwood, where I played Mary Delgado, the wife of Frankie Valli. And now I'm in rehearsals for Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman, the musical.
Yeah!
We go way back, like way back.
Way back.
Like we went to college together, Wagner College.
Oh yeah.
We did
A chorus line.
We did a chorus line.
And if you think we stood together next to each other in the line, you're right. And if you also think that one fine day, Mr. Bret Shuford was not feeling too well, and I'm standing there as Val, and I look over and I'm like, where did Bret go? Like, where did he go? And I look over and I just see a bucket on the side of stage. Well, he needed to throw up in that bucket. But let me tell you, Broadway trooper right here, future Broadway star, he came right back on that stage, you guys.
I'll never forget it. I don't know what it was. I got a bug, and I was like, oh my god. And we're standing in line, and I just like exited off, left, puked, came back on, and you looked at me and you go, where'd you go? And I went, I just puked. And you went,
Like, the quietest puker I've ever experienced. Like, the show's going on, and I'm like, where's Bret? Like, it's so quiet and empty next to me. And then he comes back with a smile.
well, the show must go on.
The show must go on.
Everywhere you go, you are just a light in the room. You are positive. You create an energy that people are just very drawn to you.
Thank you.
And it's the truth.
Thank you.
And I think anyone who knows her would say that. So, what is it that keeps that alive for you?
First of all, I was just, I was raised in a very beautiful way with, parents who were so supportive and always instilled that idea that, you always want to bring a positive energy into the room. And if you're going through your own stuff, which we all are, there are many times maybe I'm going through something, but I choose not to bring it in the room. When I'm in a room, I want it to be a positive, loving atmosphere where we're all like lifting each other up, because I'm so grateful that you said that, because that's really important to me. I value that in other people, hence why Bret Shuford and I have been friends for so long.
I always thought, like, when we graduated college, I was like, why isn't Renee Marino in Jersey Boys? And then you were. And you had done the show in, like, Vegas, right?
Yeah.
And then you did the tour.
Yes.
And so you were with that show for how many years?
Yeah, I mean, I really got some Jersey Boys in my system, which I love.
But you're also from Jersey.
Exactly.
So, right?
I was first cast as the Universal Swing. I covered 3 companies of the show at that time: Vegas, Chicago, and the tour. To be traveling around like, oh, Renee, you need to be in Vegas today. Okay. And then I'd hop on a plane and my car's there. I have a car from the airport. It was awesome. And then the role opened up on the tour, and I did Mary for a year on the tour. And then, left that show because I still had not gotten my Broadway debut, and that was always my dream. So I was like, okay, if this is your goal, you need to make some sacrifices and leave the road, and you need to go back to New York City. About maybe 4 or 5 months later, I got my Broadway debut, which was West Side Story, the revival, which was like huge blessing. And then fast forward a few years after that, I did the Broadway company of Jersey Boys in 2013.
So I think that's one of the cool things about this business too, that people forget, is that things will come back around.
Oh yeah.
If you work hard, you get a good reputation, you're
Yes.
a positive light in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So you did Jersey Boys on Broadway, but were you Mary Delgado?
Yes.
You did.
I was married, yeah.
Were you wanting to do film and television work? Was that something you had
I
thought of?
mean, yes, but this is the beautiful and crazy thing about life. That wasn't like, at that moment in time, I wasn't like, TV film, I gotta do this.
Right.
Like, it wasn't that. I was, you know what it was, you guys? And this is I think a wonderful thing to remember. You know what I was at that time? Just happy. I had always wanted to do Jersey Boys on Broadway because, again, I'm from New Jersey. All of my family could come see me.
Multiple times.
Multiple times. So for me, I was just I was in such a state of gratitude and happiness because I was like, oh my God, like I'm getting to play Mary in New York City My family's coming to see me. I was happy. I hear that they're like bringing people in from the show to audition. So that's when I was like, this would be really cool. Like, I don't care if I'm a tree in a scene, but to be in the Jersey Boys film would be so special. So now they put out a breakdown for Mary Delgado. They wouldn't see me as Mary. And at that point, for all of my theater friends, folk out there, actors in general, you know, that's that moment where you're like, wait. This was one of those moments where I was like, okay, this is the breakdown. It's me. It's basically me. And I'm playing the role, currently.
On Broadway.
On Broadway. And I'm like, oh, but I still can't get an appointment. Like, what are you trying to tell me, universe? Okay, so I was like, you know what? They are giving me an appointment to be one of the angels. I'll take it. I'm there talking to the casting director. Then he goes, would you like to sing first or read? And I go, you know, Jeff, I gotta be honest with you. I was really hoping to come in and read for Mary Delgado. I don't even know where that came from. Like, I didn't plan that. And he looks at me and he goes, I was just thinking the same thing. And I was like, do you want to come back another day and do the Mary scenes? And I was like, no, I'm doing this today. So he's like, great, do the angel side, sing the song, and then you can go in the hallway, take some time, and go through the scenes. And I was like, great. Come back in, do the scenes. Left there feeling so happy because I just got the chance. That's all I wanted, a chance to audition. And I called my agent, I was like, guess what? I opened up my big trunk and I got to read. Fast forward 2 weeks, I'm at my home that I grew up in New Jersey with my mom, my dad, and my grandmother who was 91 at the time. And my agent calls me and I pick up the phone and my agent's like, you're Mary Delgado in the movie, Clint Eastwood loved you. And I'm like, yeah! Like, it was insane. And of course I'm screaming. I run out of my bedroom. My mom's like, what's wrong? Typical, like the first thing she said, I'm like, I'm gonna be in a movie. Crying. My dad's like, oh my God, calm down, you're gonna pass out. My mom's crying and my grandmother goes, I've been praying for this for years. And I get there the first day and I'll never forget, I was like driving over in the shuttle and it was my first day on set and I'm in my first like Mary Delgado dress where Frankie meets me in the film.
In the bar or whatever.
Yep. And Clint came up to me and he was so complimentary and he's like, you know, I saw you in the show and it was, you know, went around to all the different casts, but you were it. And then you came in and put yourself on tape and it was the icing on the cake. And that whole first day I was like holding back tears. I was like, oh my God.
What's really cool to me too is that you're persistent without being pushy. I think that's such a hard balance to find for so many actors. They don't know how to ask for what they want because they're so afraid they're going to be that person.
Totally.
Or and the truth is, if you really come from an authentic place and
yes.
you really come from a place where you're respecting the relationship and you're respecting the other person, there's no possibility of that happening.
Yeah, it all goes back to just being yourself and being grounded in that. And I think that's so important for auditions too, you know, especially being like a young actor, like very green. You always think like there's something you have to do. And don't get me wrong, yes, if they say prepare 16 bars of a standard musical theater, do that. You know what I mean? Like, don't sing a rock song if you don't have to. But be yourself. Like, don't go into the room being like, I know that they need like, you know, like a leading lady who's like really put together and calm. And then you walk in there like being inauthentic. You can see it right off the bat. And like you said, in that moment, I was just being very true to myself because I knew in my heart that this was right. And I wouldn't do this for every role, but I mean, for me, it just felt so right. And I was like, if I don't try and ask, all he could say is no. Then I would have been very upset with myself because the film would have come out and I would have said, Renee, all you had to do was ask.
So many actors, I think, get into a very result-oriented mindset, right? So now you've booked this movie, like now you're supposed to have a film career and a TV career and how did you, and you did, you went to LA.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long were you in LA?
I was in LA for 3.5 years.
And it was the impetus of the film that did that, right?
Yes, yeah, I had, excuse me again, never did TV film before this film. Once we filmed it, I was like, you know what? this is my time to try LA, baby. Like, I've always wanted to try it, but New York always kept me here, which was great. Got to meet with everyone, you know, head of CBS, NBC, Sony, and it was wonderful. It was like my introduction into this world, auditioning for pilots, you know, getting called back and going in for producers, and it was amazing. Then the film comes out, and then after the film, that following September, I booked my first guest star, which was so cool. It was on a brand new pilot. But that pilot lasted 8 episodes, and then that was it. You know, it was time for me to, my husband and I actually, we, you know, wanted to come back here and kind of start our life, you know, get a home, and so that's what spawned us to come back. And, you know, it's so interesting because a lot of people can say like, oh my God, like, how do you go from being like, you know, like the lead female in this feature film to like going back to Broadway and like being in the ensemble? And I'm like, because to me, work is work.
Did you feel like there was a moment in your head where you had to humble yourself in a way, or do you feel like there was a moment where you had to? Did you feel like you resigned in any way, or what would be the word to describe what it felt like coming back to New York and going back into an ensemble?
First of all, I don't have an ego. Never did, never will. You know, that's just not me.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when I moved to LA, they're like, I don't like know where you came from. And I'm like, you guys really? Like, I'm just going to LA. Like, yes, guys, of course I wanted the work. I wanted to be like the next best thing, and like, but I learned, like, you know what? That wasn't my path. Like, I would go into these auditions and casting directors, you know, would be like, just so you know, like, you were incredible in that film. Like, maybe it didn't do as well as we all expected, you know, like certain films did. But the fact that my performance for these people in the industry was like, it was amazing. Like, that was very validating.
I feel like that's when actors get caught up in the results part of this business, is when you're expecting, you go there and you expect to become the next Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
But then you're not actually being in the moment, you're not actually being in the process.
Totally.
And what you did, and what I think you're so remarkable about you, and I think what I want to teach actors through coaching and stuff, is how to be in the moment and go, you know what, I want to work, and I love performing, and I don't really care at what level. I want to do this, I want to work with great people. Mm-hmm. You came back to New York, and you booked Pretty Woman from an open call.
Yes.
Right? So here you are, like, having meetings with CBS, the head of CBS, all these people, and then you come back to New York, you let go of your representation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you went to an EPA?
Yes. Because here's the thing, okay? I'm a proactive person, and for me, that was a little tough for me in LA, because in LA, you are at the beck and call of your representation. You really can't get an appointment unless you have an agent. And the auditions out there are fewer and far between. Where in New York, you can make it really happen for yourself, which I've done, my whole career. So for me, the lesson that I learned in LA was, you know what, Renee, you are better, you're happier when you're just working. Because in LA, for a long time, I wasn't working, I was just auditioning, creating my own show. I did a lot of musicals out there. I did my first play, which was incredible.
Right. Mm-hmm.
John Patrick Shanley's Danny in the Deep Blue Sea, but all this I was like doing myself. But as far as the business and auditions, because there were not many of them, I went a little stir crazy. And the lesson for me in that, because there's always a lesson, is that, Renee, you're better working. Like, even if I did like, work is work to me. And from that job, guess what? I got another job because someone saw me in that and they were like, oh my God, you'd be perfect for this. And then from that, I met my amazing friend, choreographer John Todd, who, him and I have done amazing projects together. So coming back to New York for me was like such a blessing, because I was like, yes, work, baby.
You could make the best of it wherever you are, which you did in LA.
Completely. Yes.
But you also wanted to be there for your husband. You wanted to be like your grandma,
my parents.
Right, and like that's all here. So it's a wonderful thing to know that like life doesn't have to go on hold for your career.
No, life and in fact, I would say quite the opposite is true. You have to have those people in your life, and it's not just family. I call them my chosen family. Those are the people, my friends, who I have chosen to be in my life, to be my family.
Mm-hmm.
you need those people because it's brutal. This business can be brutal, and we all know it. It's, you know, it's crazy. We're crazy. But we love it, and we do it because we love it. But if you don't have a strong support system, and if you are not, I guess I call it being well-rounded in your life. Like, I've always been that way. Live your best Broadway life by being present in whatever you're doing.
Thanks, Renee Marino. So you can see her in Pretty Woman. When are you in Chicago?
March 13th to April 15th, and then we come back to the Broadway starting July 20th. Live your best Broadway life.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and see you soon.